Good afternoon. I wanted to put together a really short little video for our viewers about franchising. What is it, and what to look out for if you are thinking about going in and getting into the industry? So, a franchise is a system whereby an existing brand, well, you'd hope they're an existing brand. There's plenty of examples of franchisors out there, and some of my franchisor clients and associates will have a bit of a chuckle when they watch this and know what I'm talking about when I'm referring to franchisors um, out there that have an existing brand and systems that they will allow you to leverage off in return for some consideration, which is a fancy legal term for usually money that will flow from you to the franchisor in exchange for that. The biggest fish hook from a commercial point of view, before we even get into all the legal minutiae, is what are you paying for? Are you paying for an actual brand that's generating income beyond your hard work you put into the business? And secondly, does that do the systems and the training and the really the care and the effort of the franchisor match up to whatever income stream you're actually feeding back to the franchisor as that bargain? Go and talk to the other franchisees in the system, see if they are happy with the franchisor. No one's ever going to be completely happy. We're human beings, but generally you'll get a good indication of whether the franchisee thinks that the franchisor are good people behind the business. They're actually interested in making income while you make income. And what I mean by that is that the franchise brand is growing in general, and you grow with it, and the income comes from a shared bigger pie which you guys carve up and take home, rather than really egregious or really exorbitant transfer fees and initial fees and training fees, where very little of that income is actually being applied in a way that everyone's profiting together. You know, there's examples out there of great franchise brands, and then some shocking ones where it really is just a system designed to opportunistically take advantage of people who want out, don't want a boss, and they see it as not having a boss. Well, you still have a boss in the sense that you have someone to answer to. You may not have someone looking over your every move, but in some instances, that's not such a bad thing. I just wanted to touch on some of the more legal aspects. So you have royalties, which are paid as obviously a percentage of the turnover, and that usually be as a percentage of the gross turnover of the business, not the bottom line. It's a really important distinction, because you're paying the franchisor, in most cases, a percentage of whatever the turnover is, and it's up for you to get your house in order so that enough profit or EBITDA is falling out of the bottom of that turnover to pay yourself. So the franchisor gets paid first. It's a protection mechanism for the franchisor to basically say to you, we will take out a share of whatever you generate, and you've got to get the minutiae or the smaller parts of the business working so that you can pay for yourself. You're not just paying them when you make money, which is a really important thing to understand. Second thing, leasing arrangements. So if we're talking about hospitality businesses, you're in a situation where you are going to take either a lease from a third-party landlord who owns the underlying land and property, or you're going to be taking a sublease from the franchisor. Just quickly, because this is intended to be a short video, if you're taking a lease from the third-party landlord, the positives are that you, to an extent, will control your destiny, in that if the franchise doesn't work out, there is an increased likelihood you'll be able to keep trading in some shape or form from the premises. That's to say nothing about the restraints of trade that are probably in place. The downside to it, though, is that you may be left with a lease, a personal guarantee, and an ongoing obligation to rent something which you have no underlying business for. And if you can't parry that into another venture or manage to negotiate out of the restraint of trade with the franchisor, you're really up shit creek. If you take a sublease from the franchisor, you may not be in that position, because they'll usually be, if they're any kind of decent franchise, they'll be able to refit someone else in to take over those obligations. But the downside to that is if you have a dispute with a franchisor. So if you're a franchisee that has a dispute with a franchisor, you are somewhat weakened in the sense that it's much easier for the franchisor to take that business off you by cancelling the sublease, because most franchisors that have that arrangement will have a provision in their deed of sublease which says that a breach of the franchise agreement is also deemed to be a breach of the sublease, and they will literally take your business off you overnight. So that's just a short video of some stuff to look out for. Go in with your eyes wide open, do your DD as if you're doing anything else. Talk to other franchisees, because they are the most best positioned and have the least vested interest into, maybe pull the wool in terms of trying to sell you something, and they'll give you an honest appreciation of what's going on. And go and talk to your accountant, get the books scrutinized, and try and figure out what it is you're buying. Do they have a good brand? Do they have good systems? And just your gut about whether the people behind the business are good people, and you want to see you grow while they grow, not just extort fees out of you in consideration for very little in return. There's a stark difference, and just wanted to get people to open their eyes up to some of these practices. And I'm not saying at all don't do it. It can be a fantastic opportunity for you to get into running your own business with some great safeguards in terms of brand and good people behind you, but just have your eyes wide open. Thanks, guys.